Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Off the Hook with Matty D. About a year ago, I had the absolute pleasure to go with some amazing anglers. It was called Stage 6 on the James, and I mean, you talk about a lot of fun. My cameraman and I, we were able to be out on the James River, the Chickahominy, with Major League Fishing, and we saw some anglers that were incredible. They had a great time. It was a good 6-day tournament here, part of the Bass Pro Tour, and Major League Fishing is coming back to Richmond. This time it is the Tackle Warehouse. So we've got to find out all about it. I want to bring in my guest, Joe Opager, who is the Senior Director of Communications for MLF, or Major League Fishing. Joe, thanks so much for coming in today.
Hey, thanks so much for having us, Matt.
This is a really cool thing. You guys are coming back to the James River, to Richmond. Obviously, we heard when they were here last year, the anglers, they loved this tidal fishery. It's a different challenge. So I guess it was pretty easy to say, hey, let's hit Richmond again.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last year we hosted a Bass Pro Tour event out of Richmond, and it was a smashing success. I mean, we saw huge numbers of fish, some really big fish, and it was a really, really exciting tournament for us throughout the entire weekend. So absolutely, we had to come back. This year, we're not coming back with the Bass Pro Tour. Some of those dates and locations had already been spoken for, but I'm sure the Bass Pro Tour will be back again to the James River soon. But this year, we've got our Tackle Warehouse Invitational event. It's a little different style, little different format, but it still features some of the best bass fishing pros in the entire world out competing on the James for a top prize of $115,000.
And so tell us a little bit about the difference. Let's first start the stage. I'm going to bring up your website here. It is the James River. It's called Stop 5 on the Tackle Warehouse. They're going for $115,000. So this is no small pocket change. This is big stakes tournament here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals are the only true entryway to get to the sports top level, which is the Bass Pro Tour, which we saw at the James River last year. So these guys are hungry. They're out, competing, trying to do everything they can to finish in the top 5. Of the 150 so odd anglers that compete on the invitationals, only 5 are going to get the invitation up to the Bass Pro Tour next year. So it's extremely competitive, but it's also very lucrative too. I mean, like you said, it's not chump change out there. They're going out fishing for 3 days for $115,000. So it's really exciting, and we've got it live streamed all week on our website, which you're just showing off there at MajorLeagueFishing.com.
Right.
And it's going to be a really fun event. We're very excited.
And so when you say top 5, it's cumulative top 5 at the end of the year after all of the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals are done?
That is correct. So the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals is a 6-event season. This coming up here at the James River, like you mentioned, is Stop 5. Right. So we've got one more event coming up in July after this event at the St. Lawrence River up in upstate New York. But at the end of the season, we'll take the cumulative standings of everyone that's competed on the Invitationals. The top 50 get to move on to the championship event. It's a no entry fee event over in La Crosse, Wisconsin, which also has some really big cash prizes there. Mm-hmm. But the top 5 in the standings are going to get an invitation up to that sports top level, which is the Bass Pro Tour.
Wow, that's incredible. All right, so this event is next weekend, June 20th to 22nd, I believe. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
So is that a 3-day event then?
Yep. So the full field of anglers will fish for the first 2 days of competition on Friday and Saturday. After Saturday, the field gets cut to only the top 30 for Championship Sunday. So on Championship Sunday, the final 30 guys are going to go out. We'll have a weigh-in at Osborne Landing each day, starting at 2:30 p.m. And yeah, the highest cumulative 3-day total weight is going to take home that top prize.
So explain the difference between Bass Pro last year and Tackle Invitational this year, because you said there are some different rules. I remember last year there were judges on the boats. Are there still judges on the boats, or is it an honor system and you got to bring the fish in?
It's kind of both. So you're absolutely right. The Bass Pro Tour does have officials on each boat that immediately weigh and log the fish in the score tracker system, and then the fish is immediately released. here at the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, as much as we would love to, we don't have 150 officials that we can put in everybody that's competing out there. So everybody has is required to have point of view live action cameras on their boat streaming at all times. And Major League Fishing has access to that footage at any time, and they must archive that footage as well. So that's a kind of a way to uphold the rules and all that. Everybody goes out each day, tries to catch their 5 biggest bass. On the Bass Pro Tour, there is no limit. You catch as much as you can. On the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, you catch your biggest 5 that you can. Everybody's going to bring them back to the weigh-in stage at Osborne Landing, and we'll have an actual weigh-in. And the highest cumulative total over 3 days, which would be 15 bass, because 5 bass each day, will be declared the winner.
So you, as an angler, you're catching the bass, you're putting it in your live well. So that live well has got to work, because I'm sure there's a penalty if a fish is killed. Correct?
Absolutely, yeah. There is, dead fish penalties where, if an angler is unable to keep his fish alive throughout the day, they are assessed a 1 pound penalty for each dead fish that they bring to the scale. Overall, Major League Fishing does have a 98.2% live release ratio. We're really, really proud of that fact.
Yeah,
so the majority of bass are returned to the waters healthy and to be caught again. But it does happen sometimes. And when an angler does, manage to not get one to the scale that's alive, they are assessed a penalty.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I think it's fantastic that it's all, quote unquote, catch and release. I mean, because you are releasing at the end of the day, because we're all anglers and we love to fish, and, we want that opportunity for that prize fish, because as you said, last year, and I'm sure this year, some angler is going to pull out 7-pound, 10-pound bass. They're a huge fish in this wonderful fishery of ours, the James River.
Absolutely. I mean, the strategy of this event is very different than the event we saw last year on the Bass Pro Tour, because you have to find those big fish. If you sit and you catch 2-pounders all day on the Bass Pro Tour, that's a pretty good thing, because every single one of those count. On the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, if you're bringing 5 2-pounders to the scales, you're going to have about 10 pounds and be heading back home after day 2 and not making that final day cut.
Pretty quickly.
The key is going to be finding and locating those big fish that want to bite. And the James River, we know that they're in there. So whoever finds them is going to be the one.
So the James River, as you know, is a tidal fishery. So there's a lot of, incoming tide, outcoming tide, ebbs and flows of the way things roll. How different does it make it for an angler? And do they like that challenge rather than fishing, let's say, kind of a big, reservoir or something like that?
Sure. So, the way the Major League Fishing schedules kind of shake out is multiple different types of fisheries are chosen throughout the season. And at the end of the year, we know who the best overall angler is. One of the cool things in fishing is everyone kind of has their strengths. Guys from Florida and Georgia and Alabama, really strong shallow water fishermen, great at fishing grass. Kind of some of the mid-range, Virginia anglers, California anglers. There's a lot of kind of tidal waters, which is a huge factor. And guys that don't ever fish tidal fisheries are at an extreme disadvantage at those lakes. But then as we move up north, to places like the St. Lawrence River, the Mississippi River and La Crosse, then now the northern anglers are getting their time to shine and show off, their smallmouth skills and their deep water finesse fishing and things like that. So to answer your question, some anglers love it. Some anglers dread it, and that's one of the things that makes it so exciting to watch.
But I like the fact that you balance it out, because you're giving everybody a shot in their quote-unquote home waters, right? You're used to a reservoir, used to a tidal fishery, you're used to a cold water fishery, whatever the case may be. It definitely plays a great look there. This is unbelievable. So, I mean, when you look at the schedule now for 2026, is kind of Richmond on the map, being here twice? I mean, once last year, once this year. I mean, are we like a cool hot spot to stop in, or you haven't looked at that yet?
Well, I've got to be honest, we haven't. We've been working on it. We're getting close. Within the next probably 60 to 90 days, I would imagine we'll start to see some dates and locations being rolled out. But that being said, Richmond is a place we visit every single year. Major League Fishing is the world's largest tournament fishing organization. We have 5 different circuits from high school and college and our BFL events, which are one-day events for working anglers, up to the Bass Pro Tour, the sports top level. So with more than 250 events throughout the year, there's always going to be a couple of tournaments on the James River. We're just not exactly sure what circuits we're going to be bringing there yet. It could be, a BFL event or a Toyota series, or, it would not shock me at all to see the Bass Pro Tour return. It was a great event last time, and with the facilities there at Osborne Landing, the great kind of fan support that we've seen over the years. I mean, every time we come to town, our guys are treated like rock stars. They stop and get gas. They're swarmed for autographs and pictures and selfies, and everybody wants to talk to them. And it really makes our anglers feel very special. And one of the reasons that we love coming back to Richmond.
These guys are rock stars. When I was, kind of walking through the line last year and talking with them, they were so down to earth, so personable. Their teams were awesome. They were so accommodating to come on the air and talk with us. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better set of anglers, of gentlemen, of just people in general. It was just absolutely awesome. So really a lot of fun. I'm glad that you do bring that back here in some way, shape, or form every year. All right, so June 20th to 22nd, we got 3 days. You mentioned fan support. When can fans come out? What can they expect?
Sure. So every day out at Osborne Landing, the guys are going to be taking off at 6:30 a.m. So we'll start our pregame show around 6 a.m. Usually there's free coffee and donuts out there. I'm not exactly sure what's going on next week, but come on out to Osborne Landing. Either way, there will be a big circus going on that morning. The guys are going to be out on the water all day competing. We'll have live streamed coverage each day at MajorLeagueFishing.com and on the My Outdoor TV app. So if you're a smart TV user and you want to download the MOTV app, the MLF Tackle World Invitationals is live streamed there for free. So fans can follow the action all day long, and then we'll start our weigh-in at 2:30 p.m. Kevin Hunt and Chris Jones, who is our weighmaster, will be weighing the guys in. They're going to be bringing their 5 biggest bass to the scale and showing off these James River giants as we see who makes that weekend cut, and we'll be there on Championship Sunday.
And Championship Sunday is such a huge day because, as you said, it's the top 10, is that right, that go on for, or top 30, I'm sorry.
Top 30, yeah, top 30 in this one.
Right, top 30, and I mean, hooting and hollering, weighing it in. And last year, I remember there was like a lot of things for, especially on Championship Sunday, things for kids to do. Are you doing that same type of thing, that really family fun atmosphere again? You might have mentioned that.
Unfortunately, with the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, it's kind of a condensed staff a little bit, so we're not having the expo going this year.
Got it.
But when the Bass Pro Tour comes back to town, absolutely, we will be doing that again. But that being said, there is a lot of fun going on at the weigh-in. There's usually a couple sponsor tents set up, maybe a couple food trucks, things like that. So there is absolutely stuff to do, and then you're getting to see the stars of the show, which are those James River largemouth.
Which is just unbelievable. This is so great. I cannot wait to see you guys in action again this year. I'm going to make my way down there. It's great. So much fun. Joe, you have been so kind. Not only do we get to talk with you, but in just a couple of minutes, you're hooking us up with Brian Latimer, who is a angler. Can't wait to see what his feelings are in fishing the tidal fishery and being part of this great event and trying to elevate his way, as you said, into the Bass Pro by trying to be top 5 by the end of the year.
Absolutely. Currently, B-Lat's sitting, in 30th place heading into this event. So he's inside that top 50 cut to make the championship and a couple of good events, to finish out the year. And he'll be in that running for that Bass Pro Tour invitation. So he's a great guy. He's got an awesome YouTube channel with Straight Up Fishing with B-Lat. And he's going to be an awesome interview for you. Yeah,
it's going to be great. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. And we're going to hook up with him in just a minute or so. So I appreciate your time. I've been talking with Joe Opega. Once again, he's the Senior Director of Communications for Major League Fishing. June 20th to 22nd, it's the Tackle Warehouse Stop 5 on the James River. Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing everybody this weekend.
All right, sounds good. All right, so I'm really excited because we have one of the professional anglers for Major League Fishing for the Stop 5 on the James tournament coming up this weekend, and that is Brian Latimer, who is from South Carolina. This is his 9th year of competing. First of all, Brian, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This is awesome. So, first of all, 9 years competing as an angler in Major League Fishing, that's to be commended. I mean, it is a career for you and is something you have to work hard on all the time.
That even sounds weird. You saying 9 years. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. So I always tell people I was just hoping I could get by a year or maybe two. And so now to be almost a decade of fishing professionally is wild to me.
At 12 top 10 finishes, 2 career wins. I mean, you've done well. Is it a passion fishing? Is that how you started? Because I saw a YouTube video. Really young kid down in Seminole County winning a big old bass tournament.
Man, like it. I feel like it's fluid with that. To answer that question, it's a hard question to answer.
Okay.
In the beginning, it feels like it started off because I was like, I just really don't want to do my day job. I am sick of this. I grew up in a family business, so I was sick of it. Anything I got to do to get away from this. But then also, I love fishing. But at the same time, there's times where I honestly, I mean, I'm just gonna be flat out honest. I get sick of it. I want to go home and do something else at times. But then I get about a month off or so, and then I get a little hungry. So it's fluid. It goes from, it feels like a purpose, and then I enjoy it.
Right.
And then it can be a little bit of everything, just depending on the time.
And I get it, right? Because you are pretty much on the road every weekend, just about fishing in some tournament somewhere that is not your home state of South Carolina. You're all over the map.
Well, here's the thing. That's a huge misconception about professional fishing. I only have 6 tournaments a year.
Oh, okay.
So the actual fishing part, traveling, is the fun part. It's the whole back end that nobody ever gets to see that can make you be like, I am ready for this. Like by June, July, you start feeling it a little bit. You start feeling a little bit like, I just want to go home. So, we have to work shows. I've been answering emails all day. We do Google Meets all the time. There's a lot of other stuff on the back end that it's a business. We're basically we're private contractors for the most part. So that little part, when I get to actually go fish a tournament, that's the easy part.
So that's the fun part. It's
the fun part.
The business end of the equation is like, can't I just have somebody just handle this for me?
Yeah. If I could just have somebody just handle all the back end stuff, that would help a lot. But at the same time, I enjoy that part too, because I'm a business person at heart.
Right.
So, you enjoy it, but, just everything in doses.
And I got it. Little doses of business, lots of doses of fishing.
Yeah. If we can work that out by the time, that's what I want retirement to look like for me. I don't want to quit fishing. I want to always keep fishing, but like just less of the back end stuff when I get older.
So, all right. So this weekend upcoming is the Tackle Warehouse Stop 5 on the James River. You have fished the James before. How do you find it compared to other bodies of water? Because it is that tidal fishery. Yeah,
I personally love river fishing, bar none. It's my favorite type of fishing to do. The odd thing about it is like where I live, I don't have access to that type of fishery or that type of water at all. It's nothing like where I grew up fishing. But the thing that I like about fishing rivers, in particular like the James River, is there's a lot more elements that you have to think about in order to be successful there. When I go to a Lake Hartwell, when I go to even like a place like Gunnersville in Alabama, you just got to find the fish, and that's pretty much it. Well, when you come to the James, there's an extra element. You've got the tide, you've got distance, you've got to manage fuel, the best way to get to a specific area. So there's a lot more elements that you got to manage to be able to catch fish. And to me, that extra layer of thinking about it just makes it a little bit more fun for me.
When I got the chance last year to be with Bass Pro, they did stage 6 on the James. These anglers have like 15, 20 rods on the boat. I mean, and they're just all geared up and ready to go. So do you have, because you've been here so much, a number of rods with a number of different lures, baits, jerk baits, etc., that you already know, these have worked before, these are my go-tos out of the gate, and then I start messing around?
Yeah, if I got 15 to 20 rods on the deck, you can guarantee I have no clue what's going on. If y'all come, listen, if you see your boy with about 2 or 3 rods on the deck, know I'm about to catch him. Like I'm gonna be dangerous that day. So yeah, when I go to the James, I don't suspect that I have, in practice you might have more than 3 or 4, but I'm planning to have 3 to 4 rods on deck. It's very simple. At the James, it's not about having a special lure or a special technique that nobody knows about.
Right.
It's about finding that productive area. It's very area driven in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really, I don't have a lot of tackle prep that I need to do for this tournament,
Gotcha.
but it's more just thinking about which areas are going to work out the best, which areas have the best elements to suit the style of fishing that I have. More than anything, I don't think you need anything special bait wise or presentation wise.
When you're on the James, I mean, there's a lot of recreational anglers. Does that play a factor into what you're doing? Or do they realize, hey, this guy's in a tournament, here's Belat. I want to stay away from Belat, let him do his thing.
It can play. I would say if I were to rank the James when it comes to, your pleasure boaters or even other fishermen being a factor, it would be really low on my scale. Okay. When you go to like Gunnersville, or if you go to anywhere on Tennessee River, Kentucky Lake, even here where I live, Lake Hartwell in Carolinas, it's because they're much smaller fisheries, it matters more. But I've never really had an issue with other boaters or anything on the James. I mean, those guys, they have just as much right to fish as I do. Just because I'm fishing a really big tournament, it doesn't, you would like for them to let you in there and let us do our thing, but they don't owe us anything. They don't owe us anything at all. So I'm all for the local guys fishing. I think us being there, the whole purpose of what we're doing should be to encourage other people to fish too. And if we're not, we really got to look at what we're doing. So I don't have any kind of feelings about the other people fishing.
Gotcha. And how have you done on the James in your previous tournaments? Has it been pretty successful? And that's one of the reasons why you kind of, you're able to hone in and be like, I know where these fish are. Because you mentioned it's about finding the fish.
I feel like I've always done pretty good at the James. Mm-hmm. It's a shallow, in my mind, it's a shallow water fishery. I've always done pretty well there. I think the last time that we were there in 2022, I'm pretty sure I made the 3-day cut. Well, now we just have 3 days of competition, period. But back then it was 4 days, and I'm pretty sure I made the day 3 cut there at the James. The thing about it that's changed since when I first started fishing it, the first time I went to the James, I want to say it's 2014, 15. Mm-hmm. The weights are high now. Back then, if you caught 11 or 12 pounds, you were almost guaranteed to get a payday, maybe even make the championship round.
Right.
Nowadays, I bet to get paid, you're probably gonna need 14 plus a day, maybe more, to get paid. The fishery has improved over the years, mm-hmm. and it just takes a lot of weight. So it sounds easy to go catch, 13 to 15 pounds, but in all actuality, you got to have a lot of things line up and go right for you to be able to get that kind of weight there. So I'm hoping and I can get somewhere around in that territory, but. Right. You don't get to pick the size of the fish. All I can do is catch them. I don't get to order the size that we're going to catch. All I can do is catch them.
So that's a question I have, because I'm trying to understand the whole way this works. So you put a 2-pound bass on, right? Do you then have to make a conscious decision saying, no, I think there's bigger here, and you let that one back in hopes that your next one is 3-4 pounds, kind of a thing, right? Is that what because you can only take the top, your best 5 is what you're bringing back to weigh in.
So this is what we got to do. We get to keep 5 bass, okay? Once we get to that 5th bass, we can do what's called culling. So I can then throw out my smallest bass and replace it with the next biggest one. That makes sense. You only get to keep 5.
Right.
Once you've got to 5, now you have to cull out your smallest bass and replace it with, your biggest one. So if you catch a big one.
Is that culling just a one-time deal, or is it like
cull all day long?
You go there. Okay. So
many times in a tournament, I'll start out like you may look at the live and that may only have 4, 5, 6 pounds, but then you look back an hour later, like, man, he's got 12. And you look back an hour later, like, man, he's got 14.
Got it.
And you look back an hour later, like, man, he's got 17. I can coal as much as I want during the time period during the
that
tournament.
makes more sense to me. So you're everything. The first 5 go in no matter what, and then it's like, here's a 1 pound 2, but now I just got a 4 pound 1. That's out, and now you're.
So here's something really important to remember. So a lot of times you hear bass fishermen will be, oh God, it's a big one, it's a big one, it's a big one. And then the people watching, they see a 2 pounder come up and they're like, oh, that's a 2 pounder. Why was he saying that's such a big one? What the audience oftentimes forgets is even calling up an ounce or 2 is thousands of dollars.
Right.
Like earlier this year at Toho, the very first event that we fished, I was in a 3-way tie for 40th place, which was the last payday. And it came down to who had the biggest 1-day wait. And so I remember calling up like a 1-4 for a 1-2. That's an $8,000 difference over 2 ounces, over a 1 pound, 4 ounce fish.
That is a huge difference. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so that's a big fish for us. So we may holler and scream for a fish that looks like to you a small fish, but the fact that it upgrades my bag an ounce or 2 can literally mean thousands of dollars. That can be the difference between you winning an event or not. So when you hear us hollering over those, what you think is a little fish, no. That's not what's going on there.
Got it. And because it's the first 2 days, it's your total of 10, and then you get to go, if you're top 30, you then go into the championship round. Then you really work it. So while you're fishing, are you learning as you're doing it in terms of like, this structure looks a little bit better, and you're always like, I know you're focused on what you're doing, but are you kind of like prevailing, this looks a little better here, this looks a little better here, and you're just kind of moving and doing stuff?
Yeah. Like we said, you better be learning all through the tournament.
Right.
Every hour, you better be paying attention. The thing, like I mentioned earlier, I love about the James is there's windows always opening and closing because of the tide.
Yeah.
When I go to Lake Hartwell, it may be only a window in the morning, and that's it. Maybe the first 2 hours. On the James, they might not bite in the morning because the tide's not right.
Right.
And so many guys will go to their area, they won't get bit. They'll assume that this area there's just something that's expired and it'll never happen again. But you got to be patient and wait for that tide, wait for the water to get right, and then you get that window of opportunity. It may be 1 o'clock, it may be 2 o'clock. So some of the unexperienced anglers, sometimes they can spaz out mentally when they really could just waited another hour or 2 for that window to open and make your day.
Do you keep like I think of a golfer, right? They play Augusta National, they play the Masters, and they write down every pin location. They know where they've hit it from. And do you keep a log like, it was high tide at 2:01 on the James, and I was nailing them, at this area? So like, where you're going, or was a falling tide? Do you keep a log like that? Or is that just in your brain, like you remember those things?
Listen, I could tell you what time of day I caught one on 6 years ago.
Wow.
I don't know. It seems like a great idea to write all that stuff down. But let me tell you, like, you rehearse moments like that in your brain so much. You create so many little ruts in your brain from replaying. People don't think about that. That's why I don't answer the phone a lot when I'm at tournaments.
Right.
Because so much is going on up here the entire week. We never shut off. When you go to a tournament, that like the preparation starts sometimes weeks in advance. Mm-hmm. You've got 3 days, 3 long days in the summertime of practice. So you've rehearsed what's going to happen and what did happen in practice over and over and over and over in your brain. I don't need to write it down. It's literally a rut in my brain of what time I caught that fish on, where I caught it, what the tide looked like, what it smelled like, what it looked like. It is literally imprinted into your memory and your brain because you've thought about it so much during practice period. I don't need to write it down. It's there.
That's awesome. How do you like when the fans come up to you? I mean, it's got to be really cool because, I mean, there's nothing like it, right? It's just so fun, and you guys are so great to the fans.
Yeah, we need. I think that is the lifeblood of our sport, our league, is fans, and I mean, I love it when the fans show up to weigh in. I know we're in the digital era, and I know everybody loves to watch and keep up with things online, but that in-person fan interaction is very, very important. And I encourage everybody to come to weigh in. There's nothing like it. Your kids will love it, even if they don't know anything about fishing. They get to see boats. They get to talk to people. You're going to see a lot of big fish. It's something that everybody needs to go and experience. So I highly encourage everybody to come and get the full in-person experience, because there's nothing like sentimental value of going somewhere, experiencing something. Right. I always, for my kids, I don't like to buy toys. I like to do things that lead to experience. And even if we do buy them a toy, I want that toy to lead to an experience. So I encourage any kind of family, even if your fishing is not your deal, show up to the weigh-in. It'll be an experience you'll never forget.
I mean, just looking at some of these pictures, you're carrying this huge bag full of fish to a weigh-in here. I mean, this is what the fan gets to see, because we were talking with Joe a little while ago, and you keep these fish alive and you return them back to the natural habitats. I think that's really fantastic. I mean, that's one of the great things about the sport. I'm a recreational angler. I'm all about the conservation, letting somebody else try to go for that big trophy fish. I think that's great.
Yeah. That's so. In our tournaments, we bring the fish to weigh in. They take very good care of them. We have what's called bump tanks. So while we're waiting to bring our fish across stage, they're in this little baggie, and they have these little jacuzzis with aerators, and it's like blue water in there that make the water more oxygenated to take care of the fish while we're waiting to go across stage. So if you had to ask me, those fish are probably more disappointed when they have to go back into the river. Than they're probably like, no, we want to stay in your bag, man. It's nice and cool in here. Nobody trying to bite us, climb on us, crawl us, eat us, anything. So I think the fish probably enjoy riding around with us more than they like being in the river. But the good thing about Major League Fishing is we have several different formats as well. In my divisions and even in the grassroots, we bag the fish, bring them to weigh in, and then they have the Bass Pro Tour, where it's more of a virtual format. They catch them, they weigh them, release them. So we have a variety of formats and a variety of experiences for the anglers and for fans as well.
No, Brian, I can't thank you so much for the time you've given us today to talk about your passion, your career, nearly a decade, as you said, and sometimes you said the business aspect. Not so much the fishing aspect, all the time.
Yeah, all the time. all the time.
And again, Brian is going to be at the Tackle Warehouse, stop number 5 on the James. It's coming up June 20th to 22nd. It's a 3-day tournament out of Osborne Landing. Loves the James. He loves the tidal fishery. Cheer him on. Come to the weigh-ins. The weigh-ins take place beginning at 2:30 every day. Top 30 go to the championship on Sunday, and I'm telling you right now, my money's on Bilat. He's going to be in the championship, and I'm going.
Boy.
Ready for this? I'm going. You're going to win it, baby. You're going to win it.
I would love to win that one, man. If I won the James, you would see something. I'll make it worth every penny. I promise you.
Good luck so much, Bilat. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, right on. Thank you guys for including me in this.
Thank you so much. And again, that was Bilat, and he is going to be fishing stop number 5 on the James River. Thanks once again for joining us. We'll have another episode of Off the Hook with Matty D coming up soon. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Off the Hook with Matty D.